You got word that you were in rehab,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, can we talk about that a little bit?
No, we good. I want to embrace it. You know what I'm saying? Because it helped me a lot. I won't even say it was tough at first. It was tough at first, but it ain't that tough because I really knew what I wanted. And I knew what was holding me back.
Lil Durk's life behind bars is nothing like what most people imagine. It might be far worse. The rapper is currently in serious trouble, not just because of the charges he faces, but also due to the conditions at the Broward County Jail. This facility has a dark reputation, with reports of inmates mysteriously losing their lives and deputies brutally assaulting prisoners, despite the presence of CCTV cameras. What makes matters worse is that the public has no access to the footage, raising concerns about transparency and accountability. Recently, a federal magistrate judge in Miami ordered that Lil Durk be held without bond until his transfer to Los Angeles for arraignment. This ruling has placed him in an extremely dangerous environment, forcing him to endure conditions that could put his life at risk. Fans and supporters of the Chicago rapper are deeply concerned, especially given the growing number of horror stories surrounding the jail. Durk's initial arrest, which led to the shocking murder-for-hire conspiracy charge, took place in Miami, a development that left the music community reeling. Authorities apprehended him shortly after detaining 5 alleged OTF affiliates who were reportedly involved in a plot targeting fellow rapper Quando Rondo. The intended attack tragically resulted in the death of Rondo's cousin, Luab. As more details of the case emerged, the gravity of the situation became apparent. The charges against Durk are severe, carrying potential consequences that could alter the course of his life and career permanently. Despite the daunting circumstances, Lil Durk has chosen to stand his ground. Reports indicate that he plans to plead not guilty, signaling a fierce determination to fight the allegations and prove his innocence. However, the stakes couldn't be higher. If convicted, he could face a lifetime behind bars, or even a death sentence. Yet sources close to him suggest that he remains in good spirits, with his only complaint being the poor quality of food in jail. Interestingly, insiders claim that he is getting along well with both the FDC Miami staff and his fellow inmates. Those familiar with the situation describe Durk as incredibly charismatic and agreeable, which may be working in his favor. Nevertheless, his time in Broward County Jail is far from safe. Broward County's jail system is infamous for its mistreatment of inmates, particularly those who are mentally ill, medically vulnerable, or have special needs. The facility has been under intense scrutiny due to repeated allegations of abuse and misconduct by detention deputies. Public Defender Gordon Weeks has been one of the most vocal advocates for inmate rights, calling for a full and transparent investigation into the brutal treatment of prisoners. He has specifically criticized Broward Sheriff Gregory Toney for his refusal to release crucial video footage from the jail's extensive camera system. According to Weeks, these videos could provide much-needed insight into the abuse allegations and hold perpetrators accountable. However, Sheriff Toney has justified his refusal by citing a Florida statute that exempts security system footage from public records. Weeks, on the other hand, argues that the same law allows for the release of such footage to local, state, or federal agencies if it serves their official duties. This legal loophole suggests that the sheriff could provide the videos to the public defender's office if he chose to, raising suspicions about his unwillingness. The secrecy surrounding the footage has fueled fears that Lil Durk, like many others before him, could suffer severe mistreatment behind bars. Reports from inside the jail paint a grim picture. Some inmates have been beaten under the full glare of security cameras and denied food for days. One particularly horrifying case involves Freddie Lee Jones, a 38-year-old black inmate who was allegedly assaulted by deputies while in solitary confinement. Jones, who had been arrested for a minor criminal mischief charge, reportedly went without food for 2 days before the incident. According to eyewitnesses, the attack was triggered when Jones splashed water outside his cell. In response, around 9 deputies stormed into his cell and began a brutal assault, punching, kicking, and beating him as he lay defenseless on the floor. The aftermath was nothing short of a horror scene. Blood stained his bedsheets and the walls of his cell. A witness, who had no prior relationship with Jones, was so appalled by the brutality that he reported the incident immediately. When Jones's lawyer visited him the following day, he found his client in a wheelchair, unable to sit up due to the pain. Jones had 2 black eyes, facial cuts, a chipped tooth, and a severely swollen foot. His sister, Nikki Jones, expressed outrage over the lack of notification and transparency from the Broward Sheriff's Office. Shockingly, the entire incident was captured on jail cameras, yet the footage remains hidden from public view. This is not an isolated case. Broward County Jail has a long history of unexplained inmate deaths and violent altercations. Another troubling case is that of Kevin Desire, a black man with a history of mental health issues, who died after a violent struggle with 6 detention deputies. Desire, who was experiencing a manic episode at the time, suddenly became unresponsive during the altercation. Despite the presence of video evidence, the public has been denied access to the footage, leaving many questions unanswered. The Broward medical examiner was unable to determine the exact cause of Desire's death, and no charges were ever filed against the deputies involved. This lack of accountability has only fueled further outrage, with Weeks continuing to demand the release of the video footage in pursuit of justice. Another deeply concerning case is that of Herbie Crussell, a white inmate who allegedly committed suicide while under jail supervision. Crussell, known for being a beggar and an addict, was housed in a facility meant to cater to inmates with mental health issues. His death remains shrouded in mystery, raising serious questions about the adequacy of care provided to vulnerable prisoners. Likewise, Joseph Williams, a 26-year-old inmate with a long-standing history of mental illness, died under suspicious circumstances after being arrested for an attempted purse snatching. His mother had repeatedly warned jail staff about his fragile mental state, but her pleas went unheard. Williams died shortly after she began advocating for his treatment. Brutal deputies and mysterious deaths aren't the only things Lil Durk should be concerned about while in Broward County Jail. Reports indicate that drugs frequently make their way into the facility, exacerbating an already dangerous environment. The OTF leader has openly struggled with drug addiction in the past, even checking into rehab earlier.
You were in rehab,
Yeah.
right? I mean, can we talk about that a little bit?
No, we good. I want to embrace it, you know what I'm saying? Because it helped me a lot. I don't even say it was tough at first. It was tough at first, but it ain't that tough because I really knew what I wanted, and I knew what was holding me back.
Jerky openly admitted his desire to overcome his addiction to Cine and Xanax, striving to become a better father.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I wanted better. I wanted to be a better man, a better father, a better leader.
Jerky had worked hard to overcome his struggles, but all that progress now seems at risk. In July of this year, an inmate died from an F overdose, with drugs being smuggled into the jail. This incident could push Durkio back into his old destructive habits. But how did he end up in this situation in the first place? It turns out his downfall stemmed from a failed attempt to take out one of his rivals. Even worse, he was betrayed by someone crucial to the planning and execution of Quando Rondo's attempted murder and the killing of his cousin, Lil P, none other than his associate, Brick Baby. Lil Durk's journey to Broward County Jail took a shocking turn when news broke of his arrest. Initially, rumors swirled that he had tried to flee the country, and many dismissed them as exaggerated blog stories. However, it turned out to be true. The apprehension of Mr. Banks as he attempted to leave the United States is further proof of the FBI's long reach, said the assistant director in charge of the FBI's Los Angeles field office. The feds had been monitoring Durk for a while, having infiltrated his gang and tracked his every move. According to the indictment, U.S. Customs and Border Protection tipped off the FBI when Durk booked 2 one-way flights to Dubai and Switzerland on October 24th. These bookings immediately raised red flags, suggesting an attempt to escape legal consequences. Though he never boarded either flight, the situation escalated when the FBI discovered he had also arranged for a private jet to fly from Miami to Italy. This revelation added urgency to the investigation, prompting law enforcement to act quickly. On the evening of October 24th, just an hour before his scheduled departure to Italy, FBI agents arrested Lil Durk at a Miami area airport. The swift action ensured he wouldn't evade justice. A federal magistrate judge later ordered him held, without bond at Broward County Jail until his transfer to Los Angeles for arraignment. The federal indictment revealed that 5 members of OTF, Cav London Grant, DeAndre Dantrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay, and Asa Houston were charged in Los Angeles for plotting to kill rapper Quando Rondo. The alleged assassination attempt was believed to be retaliation for King Von's death. As authorities dug deeper into OTF's activities, they uncovered a network of communications and transactions that indicated a coordinated plan to eliminate Rondo. Prosecutors alleged the suspects used OTF-affiliated credit cards to book flights and rental cars linked to the shooting, leaving a trail of evidence. Now they face serious charges, including murder for hire resulting in death and the use of a machine gun in a violent crime. On August 18, 2022, the plan to ambush Quando Rondo in Los Angeles was set into motion. Court records reveal chilling details of how far Durk's associates were willing to go for revenge. DeAndre Wilson, Keith Jones, David Lindsay, and Asa Houston traveled from Chicago to San Diego before driving to LA, allegedly using funds provided by Durk himself. To avoid direct links to him, they were instructed not to book flights under names associated with him. However, the feds uncovered messages from Durk's iCloud where he explicitly warned them about this. Despite his caution, the group still booked flights using a credit card linked to Durk and OTF. Upon arriving in LA, the OTF members met with Con Grant, a key associate who had flown in on a private jet. But the newly updated indictment contained an even more shocking detail. Lil Durk was on that private jet with Grant. Grant played a pivotal role in securing hotel accommodations, purchasing ski masks, and acquiring 2 luxury sedans for the ambush. Court records also state that Grant provided firearms to Jones, Lindsay, and an unidentified third shooter. As Quando Rondo moved around Los Angeles in a Cadillac Escalade, the OTF members tracked his location. Eventually, he stopped at a gas station, an unfortunate mistake. Asa Houston strategically parked behind the station, setting the stage for the ambush. As Rondo and his group stopped, Jones, Lindsay, and the third shooter exited their vehicle, armed and ready. A hail of bullets erupted, targeting Rondo. Tragically, his cousin, Lil Pab, who was standing outside the Escalade, was—
You go in there and look at that report. Number 4 is a local guy that was dropping Quando's locations.
According to WAC, the world initially believed that the Atlanta shooting, which nearly took Quando Rondo's life and resulted in the death of his cousin, was the result of a drug deal gone wrong involving